All right, here we are again, ready to do some more. The next video is about the different stitches. I'm not going to do a full-blown amount, so if you have any questions, let me know. But your Singer does not have this amount. You basically just have a straight stitch and zigzag stitch. I think there's a few others, but not a ton. So, because it's the one that you have is very kind of a industrial in that it can do like jeans and that kind of stuff easier than this one can. But it's handles things better, but it has less of the fancy stuff. So the main stitches, so I'm showing you on my machine. Yours will be a little bit different, but basically you want these, the ones I mainly use are 0, 0, 1, and 0, 4. Those are your straight stitches and then your zigzag. Okay. Now on mine, 0, 1 means that the needle is going all the way to the left. On 0, 0 means that your needle's all the way to the left. 0, 1 means that the needle is in the middle. Okay. And then 0, 4 is the zigzag. So if you look at my screen up here, I am going to do it as a 0, 0. So I'm going to do my needle all the way to the left. And if you want to see that change, look at the needle. There's 0, 0. There's 0, 1. There's 1, 0. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Got it? So, and what I like to do is this bottom is how much the stitch will zigzag. And then this top one is how wide the stitches will be. So I usually like to do mine just on 3. So you might want to play around on your machine a little bit and see how wide you want your stitches and what's going to work the best. Now, this part up here is the tension. And so you might need to play around a little bit with that as well. And the tension will dictate how tight the top fit goes through the bottom and the tension on that. But I usually keep mine right about here. With this being a newer machine, I don't have to fidget with that too much. The older machines, they get really finicky after a while, and you have to make sure it's on the right numbers for whatever stitches you're doing. Hold on, Livy's here. Did she do a good walk? No?
It was good by the end, but it was a pain.
It was kind of a pain in the butt.
At least I didn't get like yanked to death.
That's true. Your back's not as bad.
I mean, my back is already sore, but not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not more.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going back to the video. Cool? All right. There's rice in the Instant Pot. I cooked up some rice. It'll be for dinner tonight, but I made extra so you can have some. But it's the way I like the rice.
Which is?
A little bit mushy.
Oh, I like mine a little mushy too. So
Okay.
I'm not judging.
Okay, so yeah, you can help yourself.
Okay. I'm not really hungry right now. So
Okay.
I'll come back and have some dinner.
Okay, that's
What do
fine.
you make for dinner?
For dinner tonight, I'm making cabbage, hamburger, and sausage soup.
Oh, yeah, that thingy.
Nope, I'm actually just doing it into a soup.
Soup?
Soup! And there's homemade bread rising in the oven. So, soup.
Soup and homemade bread.
Yep. It's a happy, happy day for Shani.
Hold on before you start again.
Yeah. It's still going.
Oh, hi, Boom. She was such a freaking dork.
She was.
Yeah.
Okay. She always is a freaking dork.
But
There was a guy in a red shirt that came to the door. I don't know what he
oh,
wanted.
that's their plumber dude.
Oh. I have no idea what he wanted. I don't care. He was a little insistent, and I was a little more insistent.
He didn't stop me when I came back, so I don't.
Oh. Must have figured it out. I don't know if they were wanting to turn the water off or whatever. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
he was working on their plumbing, so I don't know.
Oh, well. I'm not worried about it. If it was important, he saw you come in, he would have stopped you.
He saw me left, and then he saw me coming just a minute ago.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, he would have stopped you if it was important.
Okay.
All right. Anything else before I start talking again to the video?
No.
Okay. All right, back to our video. So I like to do mine on 3 inch, the stitch length is 3. And then I also like just depending on how I'm sewing is whether I like the needle on the left or in the middle. So, but for this part, I usually do it on the left. For scrunchies, I normally do it on the left. And my speed, I have to show you this is turned way up. This is the speed dial that's turned way up. So I will show you the first step of, let me see, what time are we at on this thing? 5 minutes? Yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the first step of the scrunchies and how we get those going. So our scrunchie fabric, I gave you some. Let me zoom out. So I sent you some that are already cut. So it's cut and they're folded up. So unfold it. Get your scrunchie fabric, unfold it. And then what you're going to do is, this is the right side, so you can put right sides together and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, see how I have mine folded in half and the right sides are together so that the outside, the wrong side, is poking out. And then here's your fold down here and here's your end. So the two ends are together, and what you're going to do is you're just going to stitch about 1/4 of an inch or so. It doesn't have to be exact. These scrunchies don't have to be exact, but they need to be kind of tidy, neat and tidy. So we'll just do a stitch right there. So I'm going to do that real quick. And you want to make sure you do a front and back stitch. So I hope you can see okay. Let me move the camera up just a tad. Oops. That was a little more than just a tad. But actually, I'm going to bend it down too so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully. There we go. There we go. I think we got a good view there. So I put my fabric under, and if you notice my thing here, some machines have all these different markings. Mine, if you can see, kind of hard to see. It has, would be kind of the main stitch, like the main line, and then from there is 1/4 of an inch. So if I'm using my zero stitch, the zero stitch here, where it's all the way to the left, this is marking where the needle point is. This is 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes these measurements are a little bit off. So if you're doing something that needs to be specific, like quilting or whatever, there's other ways to go about it, like getting a little ruler and then getting a little tape or the special kind of tape thing. Because when you're quilting, it does need to be fairly exact. Otherwise, your stuff will get kind of janky when you put it together. So anyway, so if I just I have it all the way on the left, so if I just kind of line up my fabric right there on that 1/4 inch, this will be just fine. And sometimes I tend to, the way I do it, and I actually don't usually go off of that, I go off of my foot here. See this open area right here on the inside? I just usually line up my fabric right along there and right along this plastic bit, right where the metal meets the clear plastic. I usually just go off of that. Because again, it doesn't have to be exact. My cutting's not the best either, so sometimes this will be off. So the bigger seam allowance you have, the more you don't have to worry about if the cutting's all weird. So you can do a forward stitch, and then, so I did a couple forward stitch, and then you'll do a backward stitch. On your machine, there'll be a button that is backwards. On this one, it's here for me. So I'll go back a couple, and then you're just gonna go forward and kind of keep your fabric lined up wherever you're measuring. Okay, when you kind of come to the end, then you're gonna do a couple back stitches, go forward again, and there you go. And then I'm using my cutter on the side over here. And there we go. And then I usually will do it that way too. I don't like to pick up the scissors a whole ton, so it wastes my time. So that is the first step of doing our scrunchies. And now you can do a whole chain of these. Like you can just zoop, zoop. And if you're doing, dang it, I wish I had more than one. So if you're doing, we'll just do this one again. If you're doing a bunch of these, the step on a bunch of scrunchies, you'll just go along. See, I'm getting a little out of whack there. And then rather than lifting up your foot, taking the fabric out, cutting it, because that wastes thread and time, rather than that, you can just slide. Hold on, let me get a scrap fabric. Let's pretend that this is my next ends together. So you can just butt it right up in there and just keep going. See? And you would do a front and back stitch. I didn't on that. And then you'd put your next one in and keep going, keep going. And let's say you have like 10 of these all lined up, then you can do that. And see how they're kind of stuck together still? I'll just shoop, and there you go. That makes it, you know, it's line stitching. Chain stitching is actually what they called it. It's a quilting thing, but it works for this really well because you're just kind of trying to do a bunch together. So then you would have like 7 or 8 of these. For a yard of fabric, we can do about 7, sometimes 8 strips for scrunchies. So each yard of fabric will have about 7, sometimes 8 scrunchies cut out, ready to go. And so yeah, here you have your thing. So then I'll make another video showing you the next step. This is one big circle. See? So I'll make another video showing you the next step. So hang tight.